All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say, call Loyam La Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Akim, pushing the work in truth and in sincerity. All right. Let the Lord, all right, be your banner. Okay. Let the Lord be your banner. All right. Because the Lord has always gave us provision. And not only that, protection. Okay. And I want to use Exodus 17. I want to get straight to the point on this one, because the backstory is a war with Amalek, okay, which is a perpetual war. All right, we're still warring against them as we speak. Okay, we know how much they control. All right, we know what power they have, and we definitely know what hand they had in, our demise, our plight as a people. Okay, and they continue, and they're going to continue until we get destroyed. Okay, but it's not going to happen because the Lord is going to provide that protection. All right, as he's done countless times. And if he hadn't been a small sanctuary to us in the land of our captivity, we would be destroyed. Okay. And then seeing is that, Esau has done all he could do. He's went above and beyond, and we're still here, and we still have the truth. Speaks volumes. All right. So I want to get straight to the point. I encourage you brothers to read this. This is the first war out of Egypt and Amalek. The chief house of Esau, the one that's supposed to be our brother. All right. The one that's supposed to be in the trenches with us. He essentially was just not for us, and he turned against us. All right. Which again, that goes back to that perpetual war, and if you want to really understand the depth of it, you go back to Genesis 3 and 15. It all stems from there. Okay, so Exodus 17 and 14, it says, "And the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven." And so why is the Lord so mad? Why is he so furious to even make a statement as such? All right. It was because the transgression had to be, it had to be unwarranted from Amalek. It had to be above and beyond. Okay. And again, the scriptures speak on their hatred towards us. All right. And, yeah, man, the Lord was pissed. Okay. It says, so he made Joshua. All right. He said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. Right. So he passed it on down to each generation, just like Esau did. When Esau made that vow to kill Jacob, you can extrapolate this. He vowed to kill Jacob, and we can see his perpetual hatred. Ezekiel 35 and 5 goes into that. What do you think he kept for a memorial? His hatred towards his descendants and his successors, Esau's successors that came after him. All right, he kept that. And so what did the Lord keep? All right, he kept a memorial of them being utterly destroyed. All right, and we're supposed to know this in every generation, that he was going to utterly destroy Amalek. Okay. So verse 15, and Moses built an altar and called the name of it Yahweh Nisai. All right. And that's the name of this lesson. The Lord is my banner. All right. And then the Lord should be your banner. Okay. Because this is not really a physical war. For Esau is very physical. It's very carnal, because that's their mindset. They want to get their hands dirty, and have been getting their hands dirty for a long time now. All right. And they, every desire they wanted to, every heinous and wicked desire they wanted to perform against us, they've done. All right. Okay, so it says, verse 16, it says, for he said, because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. All right, now I want to read it in the NLT really quick. All right, because again, the basis of this lesson is, let the Lord be your banner. All right, because the Lord has always provided provision and protection. And what the hell you think he's going to do in these times? Especially with those who want to eradicate us as a people. All right, they already took the remembrance of our name out of the earth and called us Negroes, called us colored, called us all these other things. And now they're mad that we figured out the truth and that the Spirit of the Lord is upon us, and the Spirit of the Lord's mouth is bringing them down. They're pissed and they're so afraid because those prophecies are coming to pass. All right, so it says after the victory, all right, after the victory, the Lord instructed Moses, write this down on a scroll as a permanent reminder. Why? Okay, so the backstory is that Amalek warred against us in Rephidim. All right, and Moses, Hur, and Aaron went up to the mountain, and Moses lifted up his hands and prayed to the Lord. And as he was praying, we were winning the fight. Now his hands got heavy. All right, and literally the story is only 8 precepts, but or 8 verses. Okay, so you can read it on your own time. But as his hands dropped, that's when Amalek started to win. And Aaron and Hur had to actually help Moses. Okay, and that's essentially what he did. What they did is help him to keep praising the Lord. And there's many lessons to take from that, but one in particular is that even in weariness, continue to praise the Lord in the heat of the battle. Okay, and we're in the heat of the battle. Brother, fighting against all sorts of things, mainly the principalities of the air, and of course our remnants of the old men that we once were. We're trying to eradicate that person. All right. So Exodus 17 and 14 in the NLT, it says, after the victory, the Lord instructed Moses, write this down on a scroll as a permanent reminder and read it out loud to Joshua. I will erase the memory of Amalek from under heaven. All right. And there's other precepts that back that up. Okay. And we're supposed to remember this in every generation. Okay. Why? Because even now they are warring against, our generation, so to speak. All right. And the Lord is going to make good on his word. Okay. Because every generation, they're coming against us with great disdain. Moses built an altar. It says Moses built an altar there and named it Yahweh Nasai. All right, which means the Lord is my banner. All right, and it's a lesson for you bros, man. Let the Lord be your banner. He said they have raised their fist against the Lord's throne. So now the Lord will be at war with Amalek generation after generation. Okay, and this is the last generation. Okay, and the Lord is going to make good on his word. All right, so the next precept is Psalms. All right, 20th chapter. Yeah, 20 and 5. Okay. Psalms 20 and 5. All right. It says, we will rejoice in thy salvation and in the name of our God, Yahweh. All right. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We will set up our banners. The Lord fulfill all thy petitions. All right. NLT, it says, may we shout for joy when we hear of your victory and raise a victory banner in the name of our God. And we already won the battle. The Lord is already going forth before us. I believe it said in Deuteronomy, first chapter, 30 verse. I'm going to grab that too. It says, may the Lord answer all your prayers. And what is our prayers? That we overcome our enemies. Okay. Let me get that Deuteronomy real quick. I don't have it written down. But let's see if this is the right one. I'm sure it is because I just looked it up. Yeah, Deuteronomy 1:30. The Lord, Yahweh, your power, which goeth before you, he shall fight for you according to all that he did for you in Egypt before your eyes, and in the wilderness where thou hast seen how that the Lord thy God, Yahweh thy power, bear thee as a man doth bear his son, and all the way that ye went. How much more now when we are at the end? And we're literally on the brink of destruction for our enemies because they have everything at their behest. They have all the power, all the money. All right. And they've been putting in work. All right. It kind of pisses me off that they have such an advantage, but really they don't. I mean, a carnal eye would see and be like, oh, you can't fight against them. But what did Maccabees say? I mean, well, Judas Maccabees say. All right. This is what Judas Maccabees says. This is First Maccabees chapter 3 verses 19. For the victory of battle. For the victory of battle standeth not in a multitude of hosts, meaning armies or army. It says, but strength cometh from heaven. They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us. And that's our enemies, man. And then in this instance, the context of this precept, these were Edomites that we were dealing with, and plus a whole host of different nations as well. Okay. I think Ishmael was a major part in that too. Had a major part in that too. All right. And so it says the victory. So it says they come against us in much pride and in iniquity to destroy us and our wives and children and to spoil us. All right. And they want to take our souls. Them, we don't have anything. Everything we got is through them, because the scriptures say the curses is that we should go to our enemies for one of all things. So what else could they take from us? All right. They want our souls. Okay. And that's why the end game is the RFID chip, which is the MOTB. All right. But they're not going to be able to take our souls. All right. Because they have a date with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. They have a date with the Lord. All right. So let the Lord be your banner. Lift him up as an ensign. Pray to the Lord. You got these Edomites praying at the Wailing Wall or the Western Wall, which that wall was built by Herod. All right. That's the outside wall of the second temple. All right. And that was built by Herod, an Edomite. All right. Who posed as the king of the Jews, who was actually imposed, but he was the actual king of the Jews. All right. Numbers 24:20, it says, and he looked on Amalek. He took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. All right. That's 2 times we see that. And we can go 3rd time's the charm. That's in Obadiah. Okay. All right. So, yeah, man, these devils been running amok, and, the Lord is going to call their bluff. Okay. Because they're warring against the Lord. All right. Their war is against ultimately the Lord, even though they're pummeling us, their war is against the Lord. So let's get this Ezekiel, since I mentioned it earlier. 35:5. Ezekiel 35:5. All right. Because again, this ain't, nothing new. All right. These last few hundred years, Amalek, the chief ones among Edom, they've been the main vehicle of our demise. All right. And they've afforded the affliction. All right. So when we, served our punishment under the Lord, they came to finish us off. Ezekiel 35:5, but the Lord preserved us. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, since thou hast not hated blood. Even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate and cut off. It's talking about the people. It's not talking about the land. It's talking about the people. And cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. All right. And I will fill his mountain with his slain men in thy hills and in thy valleys and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. All right. So they got a date with the Most High Yahweh Shem Shai. And what did he say in Psalms 47? He shall not meet them as a man. All right. That's very scary. Okay. That is very, very, very scary. This is Song of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 10. And it reads, this is, who is she that looketh forth as the morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun. Let me make sure I got the right one. All right. Yep. And terrible as an army with banners. All right. Who is she that looketh forth as the morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun. All right. And terrible as the army with banners. Okay. We're terrible to these nations. Okay. We're going to be terrible to these nations. All right. All right. There's obviously some crazy shit going on outside. But Revelations, hopefully y'all hear that. So Revelations 11 and 11, it says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of the life from God entered into them, who, Israel, okay? And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them that which saw them. And those that saw us, all right, it says terror struck all who were staring at them. Those are our enemies, okay? And this is the starting process of this being fulfilled, us having the truth and raising up. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him. Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. So they're terrified. I just wanted to bring that out to make that point. Okay. I have a few more precepts and I got to get ready for work. So Salaki, I didn't mean to rush this, but, the point of this lesson is to make the Lord your banner. Even in your weariest moments, in the heat of the battle, keep praying to the Lord just like Moses did. And of course, he had his brothers to his help. Yesterday I did a lesson, on how, love and life is in the brotherhood. So, your brothers are essentially your help. We are help to each other. So, put your hands forth and pray. Pray against our enemies. Throw up those curses. And pray that the Lord go before us, because he already has. All right. Psalm 76, arise, O Lord, in thine anger. Lift up thyself because of the rage of mine enemies. And awake for me to the judgment that thou hast commanded. What did he command? I just read a few judgments. And it said the same thing more than once. So he was going to destroy and wipe out Amalek. So they can do whatever the hell they want, however the hell they want. They can pray to that Wailing Wall, and because we know what essentially what are they praying for? They ain't praying for prosperity. They already got that. They ain't praying for power. They damn sure ain't praying for their enemies. If they praying for them, they cursing them. They trying to curse us at that wall. You see? And I was going to, in post-production, I was going to put that video from that documentary, You Are Amalek, where you had all these different leaders of these different nations. In fact, I'm going to do it anyway. You had all these different leaders from these different nations go to that Wailing Wall and pray. Well, not pray, curse Israel. We know exactly what you're doing. Curse us because they want that birthright. And the honest truth is you're not going to get it. All right. Okay. Psalm 18:3. I only got a few more, man. Psalms 18:3. I will call upon the Lord, Yahweh, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon the Lord Yahweh, and I cried unto my God. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. All right. Then the earth shook and trembled. All right. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken because he was wroth. So the Lord, look, man. So it says in the NLT, the earth quaked and the foundations of the mountains shook and quaked because of his anger. And that's because he gonna be pissed at what they doing to us. He gonna be pissed because of what our enemies are doing to us. And rightfully so, the earth is gonna quake. All right. Imagine that, you really gotta think about that, meditate on that. How the Lord, how much he loves us. And just like anybody would touch, your son or anything precious in your sight, how vigorously angry or wrathful you'd be towards those that are, trying to harm or hurt something that you love dearly. Yeah, man, that speaks volumes. Hey, Lord, willing, this lesson was edifying. I gotta get out of here, so salaki on that. I had a few more precepts, but until next time, I say shalom, Lord, willing, this was edifying to you, Akim. Hey, shalom.